And there we are. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you guys have had a good day. So we got here Michelle's in the house, JJ's here, Delbert Jones, H. Smith, Caroline, Carol Prince, Delbert Jones, Bobby Farron. Welcome everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Glad to see a lot of familiar names in the house. Well, all right. So before we jump into anything, I would like to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I'm going to miss everyone in the live stream when SHTF happens. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that'll be weird. I want to remind everybody this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we're not going to tolerate it. Again, the morons will come in. Let my moderators deal with them, and please don't engage with them. That's what I would just ask you guys, because that's what they're looking for. They want attention. So if we just get rid of them, that ends that right there. So, all right. I had somebody. I gotta bring up two things before we jump into anything. So the first person, same person for like the third time. How's the garden coming? And I addressed the garden a long time ago. So today I replied to them and I said, how's the garden coming? I asked them the same question. So, yeah, it was warm here today too. We definitely got warm today, Delbert. So, but the second thing I want to address, I had somebody say, because I said I've been on YouTube with this channel for 14 years now. And Sandy said I answered that guy before. I know you have, Sandy's, and other people did as well. It's just, again, game playing. That's all it comes down to, is game playing. So anyway, I had somebody else in the comments, and so I said, I've been online for 14 years, and they were like, you've been prepping for 14 years and you're not ready? The reality is this, and I laughed when I read the comment, because any prepper that you ask, and I don't care how prepared they are, is going to always say the same thing. I'm not ready, because there's always something else you can do to get ready. So am I ready more so than the average bear? Absolutely. Okay. Am I where I want to be? Never going to be where I want to be. In the private live stream, I said, what would make me be completely ready? And that comes down to having a substantial underground system, number one. Have, between 4,000 or 5,000 gallons of propane on site ready to go. Same with gasoline. Have vehicles that are not electronic vehicles that we could utilize. Have maybe a gasifier vehicle as well. Everybody's building completely set up. Having, multiple greenhouses, multiple root cellars, because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So, it don't matter who you are, there's always going to be something else to do. And so, we're doing the best that we can. I think we're doing fantastic, but you're always going to have those people that are going to have those judgments. So a couple things I wanted to address. The first one, oh my God, it is so nice to see cancel culture working in reverse. I got to say, folks, I couldn't be more delighted. I've always felt that this individual was a hypocrite. If some of you that are old enough will remember him from The Man Show, where they did a lot of degrading stuff to women, right? And then yet he gets a talk show and he gets on there and he cries and he's a bleeding heart liberal and, mega bad, blah, 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 blah. Jimmy Kimmel just got canceled. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this in the news yet. They just yanked his show. So he is canceled. And because of his comments. Why do you start with me? Why do you do this? What is your problem? All right, give me a kiss. Thank you. Okay, now go on. Come on. Down, down, down. Be a good girl. Um, because of his statements that he had said, that the left was pushing their narrative. See, this is the thing, folks, and this is what I find interesting. Anytime something happens and it's one of theirs, if you will, left or right, right? So you have this individual who was in a relationship with a trans person, didn't like the situation, with what Charlie Kirk was saying about it, so decided to kill him, and stuff like that. And they got this message back and forth to him and his partner, and the partner knew nothing about what he was going to do. So it is, he gets on his show and saying, oh, it's it was a right-wing mega person that did this. There's no way a right-wing mega person would have killed, Kirk. It just, killed Charlie Kirk. Not going to happen, right? Because they're going to believe in what he's saying. They're not, listen, and I've said this before. Did I agree with everything that Charlie Kirk said? Absolutely not. Okay. I did not believe in everything that Charlie Kirk said, but I respected the guy because he gave an open dialogue. He gave people a chance to air their side, and he would have discussions. I respect that. 100% respect that. Okay. But, yeah, he wasn't trying to play everyone, just those who agreed. Exactly. He was very far left, and he played that role. And I'm very happy to see that, chicken's coming home to roost finally. Because how many people did the left cancel? I mean, think about it. Back in the time. I mean, just on YouTube. What's happened on YouTube with so many channels, right? If they didn't go along with the agenda or had their own thought process, they have had issues and have had problems. So, just part of the game. But it's nice to see that finally, chickens are coming home to roost, and I like to see it. And like I said, I just always felt he was a hypocrite. Listen, be who you are, okay? I've always been straight up with you guys. What you see is what you get. I have never deviated from my thought process. I've always said the same thing. If I make a mistake, I'm always the first one to come on here and own up to it if I've screwed up. That's what you should do as a man, okay? You don't put up this false narrative in front. I thought he was phony. So, bye-bye, Jimmy Kimmel. Second thing I wanted to address before we jump into everything else. There was a confrontation today. Don't know all the details yet, but five police officers were shot in Pennsylvania. 3 of them were killed. 2 were in critical but stable condition in the hospital right now. The shooter has been killed. Apparently, they were serving papers of some sort to this gentleman, court papers of some sort. Now, I'm not going to speculate, and I'm not going to say, it had to be this or it had to be that. We have no idea. But here's a reality, folks, okay? And I don't like to see anybody getting killed. I'm never going to say F the police or any of that kind of nonsense. I think it's terrible when people are killed. But sometimes when you push people to a breaking point, okay, they will fight back. Now, I don't know what the conditions of the papers. Was he getting, kicked off of his property? Was there, who knows? I don't know. So, like I said, again, I'm not, they went to serve a warrant and the guy came out shooting. That's what Teresa Lynn says. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what the warrant was for or whatever the case may be. But unfortunately, sometimes when you push people into a corner, they are going to come out fighting. And in this situation, the shooting took place as officers were following up on a domestic-related investigation that started Tuesday, Paris said. Okay, well, there you go. So you got somebody that's not happy, and Okay, David's asking, how much did your food haul with the Keystone meats cost? Actually, I was just talking about that in the private live stream. We picked up 35 cans of Keystone meat. We picked up turkey, we picked up chicken, and we picked up beef. The total for those 35 cans ended up being $318. So a good haul, a lot of meat. That's going to help us when the time comes. And so the beef was $9.88 a can. The chicken was $7.92 a can, and the turkey was $8.82 a can. Just to kind of break it down for you guys. Now, I tell you right now, I had not seen the turkey before. I always saw the beef. I saw the hamburger. I saw the chicken before, and I saw pork before. Now, I didn't see any hamburger or pork this time, but they did have the other ones, like I said. And so, yeah, 28-ounce cans, Lamb's Light, 28-ounce cans. So it's a good size can. It's a decent sized can. It's, so, but yeah, it's like, one of the things that we have discussed as a group, no guarantee of meat being available. We got a ton of rice, so we have a lot of rice stocked up, and you need things for filler, obviously. So just got some canned beef, hamburger, turkey, and pork from Keystone. There you go. Very nice. So small tuna-like cans of turkey at Ollie's today were $1.49. All right. Sandy's saying that. But congratulations on 14 years. I've always enjoyed your channel. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I can't believe it's been that long. It's gone by really fast. Time has definitely flown. But no, I know beans and rice make a complete protein. So, Robert, as you know, as a group, so again, when I talk about like group food that we've gotten as a group, that's money that people have put in that we're using. That's going to be for everybody in the group. Okay, so everybody's going to have their individual food that they've brought. Okay, this is group food. We've added over 700 pounds of beans, of several different kinds of beans, to our stockpile. We have, as a group, about 340 maybe pounds of rice. And again, then everybody individually has a bunch of stuff. So, we're looking at fillers because you don't want to just have rice. You want to have rice and beans, and then you want to have one day, say, and then the next day you take rice and you put some vegetables in with it, and you have that. Then you can take rice and you can put the meat in there another day. But all those things are important in my, that's just my opinion. So we're been in the process now of starting to really stock up on the meats. And I think that is obviously very important as well. We will continue to stock up on other things as well. But the last 2 months, we've gotten meat. And I showed you the other haul that we had gotten the other time as well, where we had added salmon. We had like 59 cans of salmon. So, but, so that's, what is the shelf life on canned meats? I know chicken and tuna have a long shelf life. They'll have on there a best by date, and I really don't know. I'd have to look at what their best by date is, Robert. But the best by date does not mean that the food goes bad. All a best by date means that after that date, the food will start to lose nutritional value. That's it. So as long as the can is not swollen, or if you open the can and there is a foul smell, it's still going to be fine. I just had, I think it was last week, I had a can of, I don't even know what the heck it was. What did I have? It was a can of something, like a ravioli or something, that was 6 years past the best by date. So, I mean, it didn't smell bad. It wasn't swollen. When I opened it up, it looked fine. If you question any of that, when, you open up a can and you're not certain, and, get rid of it if you don't think it's going to be good. But again, I've had stuff well past the best by dates, and they're perfectly fine. And again, when you are starving, you are not going to be looking at the best by date. You're going to make sure that the food is good, that it's not tainted, and then you're going to eat it, and you're not going to care. So, but I remember when you opened the cans from New York from 2009, a couple years ago. Yeah, Robert, when I had like my 5-gallon buckets, I have a lot of stuff in 5-gallon buckets, and that stuff was still perfectly fine, still sealed. So, but I opened a can of corned beef from the Best Buy was 2019. There you go, Sandy. Yeah, exactly. And you're still here. Look at that. Me too. But again, people get it in their heads that that's the expiration date, and that's what they want you to think, because then what do? You get rid of it, you throw it out when it's still good, and then you go buy more. So, to me, yeah, you try to rotate. Absolutely. You should absolutely try to rotate your stuff. You should try eating your older stuff first. But, when you are stockpiling, it can get away from you, and the next thing you know, you got stuff that, are like, holy crap. But again, we're just trying to be as ready as we can be. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. The group purchases, and that's why we had our meeting, and I asked the group, what do you guys want me to do this month as far as with going and getting stuff? I can get more meat. I actually said I can go and get more salmon if you want, because 59 cans of salmon are only going to last so long, realistically, okay? And people were like, I would like to get, turkey if we can get it. And I said in the meeting, I said, I haven't seen Keystone with the turkey. And then I go to the store and they had Keystone with the turkey. But they were like, turkey if we can get it, and more chicken and beef. And so that's what I did, And I was trying to figure out exactly, I knew like 35 cans I was going to be okay. And I had like $400 to work with, and it ended up being like $318. So I still have another $80, and I'm probably going to go out and get more stuff, but I'll probably switch it up and get something different, like sardines, or corned beef hash, something like that. So we'll see. We'll see what what I see when I get to the store, and we'll go from there. So we got 184 people in the chat. We have 66 thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. We have a lot of canned hams. Yes, that was one of the stockpile purchases that we bought last month, Delbert. And also we had some from before that already. But yeah, I think last month I bought like 23 things of canned ham. So, but anyway, so if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time. Also, again, it really makes a huge difference with the algorithm. So the more interaction, the better. So I appreciate it for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And again, I thank you ahead of time for that. So, all right. So I want to get into, this whole, and I've seen it a lot. I talked a little bit about it in my video earlier from today. So if you want to go back and watch that, if you haven't already, please do so. But a lot of chat with social media talking about, this could, spark off a civil war and all this type of thing. And the reality of it is this, folks, okay? A civil war would be very, very difficult, very, very difficult, because there are no clear drawn lines. Even in the cities, you have mostly liberals in the cities. Okay, let's be honest, right? But there are a lot of conservatives in the cities too. And then you get out into the country, and that's going to be mostly conservatives, but there are going to be liberals out there as well. So how do you figure that out? It won't be this state is going to be this and this state is going to be that. It won't ever work that way. Okay, so for the media to be pushing that narrative of a civil war, I don't think it's healthy, to be honest with you. Nobody would win in that situation, and what it would actually lead to realistically is complete in total control by the government, because of course they would have to lock things down, stop both sides. That could be used as a gun grab, just saying. Also, you know, take away and strip the rights of everybody. If they ever had to enact martial law for whatever reason, what happens, right? The Constitution is thrown out the window. They can lock you up for any length of time for any reason that they saw fit. Bottom line, that's exactly the way it would go. So, that's something to think about. You have to pay attention to these things, and don't always feed into what they're trying to push on us. Like I said, again, any kind of civil unrest like that would be a very bad thing for everybody. Nobody wins in that situation. Nobody wins. So, you're going to see, always going to see the the saber rattlers. You're always going to see that. People are like, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, that have no understanding of any of it. Hey, Ed, a civil war, you wouldn't know if your brother, sister, cousin, or neighbor, you wouldn't know who to watch out for. Well, exactly. Unless you absolutely know what their politics are. And, a lot of people are going to be real low profile in that type of situation if they are in enemy territory, per se. And the thing is, like I had said earlier, when you have the majority of your liberals living in the city and the majority of your food is grown by those conservatives out in the country, how quickly could that turn really ugly? How quickly would we, as conservatives, cut cities off, realistically, and not let them come out? So, I mean, it's a no-win situation, okay? No-win situation. But so the media has been really pushing that, and so somebody wants that to happen. Somebody wants that to jump off. And what my thing is, don't feed into that. Don't get caught up, because it's not going to be a good thing. But again, as I have said to you guys before, and I will say to you again, something's coming. And I don't know what it is. I don't make any claim to say it's this, that, or the other thing. Like I said, my personal belief that it will be a grid down situation, because that would literally be the most catastrophic for this country. No outside force is ever going to defeat the United States of America. It's not going to happen, okay? No outside force is going to invade us, because too many of us are armed and we would take care of our business, okay? They're going to have to make a scenario where we eat each other, okay? That's honestly my belief, because the best way to destroy America is let us destroy ourselves. And when I say eat each other, I'm not talking physically eat each other, even though that would happen. Starvation would drive people to do things that they never thought about, okay? But again, in that situation, it would be insane. What about a NATO-Russia war? I don't see that happening either, because again, that's also a no-win situation, because a war like that, Alex, would go nuclear. And again, nobody wins in that situation. So, that's just, electric grid down in the winter. You got it. That a Google account. That if it was me, and I've said this to you guys, if it was me, that's the way I would do it. I would attack the power grid in the wintertime, because that's when you're going to have your highest casualty rates, because people would freeze to death in their own homes. One major snowstorm hits Minnesota, Michigan, New York, Maine. You aren't going anywhere, okay? You're not going anywhere. Connecticut, all those areas where they do get a lot of snow. Think about Watertown, New York. They get I think they get almost 200 inches of snow a year. And if nobody's coming to plow the roads, nobody's coming to dig you out, you're there till the snow melts. And unless you're prepared for that, which obviously we know that 93% of the country is not prepared for a 2-week disaster, let alone anything longer. We are not like our ancestors, folks. Our ancestors stocked up, they canned, they got wood, they prepared. Everything all spring, summer, and fall was preparing for winter because they knew that once winter hit, they weren't going anywhere. So, it's different now, obviously. We have all this stuff, but I've been snowed in many times here in Minnesota. Right. So, I mean, if you're ready for that, it gives you an advantage. But if no one's coming to plow, no one's coming to turn the power on, nobody's coming to the rescue, you have the heart attack, guess what? You're dying at home. You're out there shoveling that snow, and how many people each year die of heart attacks because they're out there shoveling snow? So I was at the blizzard of 78 myself in Buffalo, New York, Eric. I was there as well. When that blizzard happened, I was in Buffalo as a 13-year-old kid. That was awesome. That as a kid, it was awesome because it was like we didn't go to school for like a week. It was wild. So, I mean, but again, those are anomalies that are going to happen. But Buffalo's been getting hit almost every single year. And again, you're in an area where there is lake effect, it's going to be bad. Okay. So, if you have, like, you live in the Arizona desert, right? And you ship in all your water. Well, what happens when you can't? I mean, these are things you've got to think about. Yeah, what about hospitals during a grid down SHTF? Alex, I'll tell you right now what's going to happen in hospitals. In the beginning, people will try. And then once they realize, and I'm talking about the staff, not the patients, the staff. Once they realize that they're screwed and it's a bad situation, they're going to be gone. They're going home. All those people, they're not going to stay unless they have no family. If they have no family, you will see some that will stay, but they're not going to do well. And when the power's done, hospitals only have like a 3-day supply of fuel to run the generators. Okay, that's what they have on hand, a 3-day supply. So unless the government or the military comes in and reloads for them, which won't happen in an SHTF situation, it won't, because they won't be able to. Those people are, you're done. Think about, I mean, let's be realistic, right? Every group home that's out there that has mentally retarded people, every senior citizen home, every nursing home that's out there, unless you go and pick up grandma yourself and take grandma with you, grandma ain't going nowhere, and there ain't going to be nobody to take care of her. And if grandma has dementia and doesn't know who she is or what's going on, that's what's going to happen. That's the reality. Who was the Hollywood actor that just died? God, he was like in his 90s and he had dementia. His wife died first. They figured it out. What had happened was no, it wasn't Robert Redford. This was Gene Hackman. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Gene Hackman. His wife died first, right? And Gene Hackman had dementia. So he wandered around the house for a week, right? Can't feed himself, don't know what he's doing, out to lunch, and then he died as well, right? Because nobody came to check on them. Nobody came to check on them till 7-8 days later. But that's what happens, folks. What do you think's going to happen? That's the reality. And they didn't really talk about it that much because that's what happened. She passed away first, and she was the caregiver. He was still alive and would have probably still been alive, but he probably died of thirst or hunger. He wouldn't have died that fast from hunger, but thirst, nobody taking care of him, not knowing what's going on. Maybe he slipped and fell. You just don't know. But what do you think it's going to be like in those places? There's nobody going to be coming in there. So, but the reality is it would get real ugly real fast. The dog died too. One of the shepherds died. Yep. Stephen yep. I think by her side. So, Just a terrible, terrible. That's a terrible tragedy that could have been avoided, but nobody was checking on those people. Guys, we got 230 in the chat. We got 106 thumbs up, which is less than half. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I do appreciate that. Really makes a big, big difference. Really helps with the algorithms again as well. So the more interaction, the better for the channel. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. JJ said, did you see the Muslim Dearborn mayor telling a Christian resident that he wasn't welcome there? No, I did not see that. And so let's talk about stuff like that. That's actually a good point in a true SHTF situation. All right, you're going to have groups of people, Muslim, Christian, right, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, and what are they going to do? They're going to click up with their own people. And we should all be our own people. We're all human beings, but that ain't the reality. You have people that have a lot of hate in their heart for somebody just because they're a different color. What do you think is going to happen in a true SHTF situation when there is no rule of law? Right? Yeah, they'll fight each other in groups like idiots. Exactly, a Google account. That's a fact, folks. Or because your religion is different from my religion, I'm going to kill you. That will happen as well. You will have people targeting, anybody that's different, your homosexuals, your lesbians, the tolerance won't be there anymore. There's nobody going to be there to protect them so that they can do whatever they want to do. So, you have to realize the true nature of human beings is not pleasant. So hopefully, there will be places in pockets of people that will be, anti-Semitic, the craziness. Exactly. There you'll have that too. So again, people will be killing people because of their religion, because of the color of their skin, because they're mentally retarded or because they're gay or lesbian. That will happen as well. And if you don't think that will be the case, then you're delusional. There'll be a lot of abandoned people, meaning the elderly in nursing homes, the mentally retarded in group homes. There ain't going to be nobody there to take care of them. All right. Where are the cops going to be? Where's your emergency personnel going to be? They're going to go home, right? They're going to go to their homes. They're going to take care of their loved ones and screw everybody else. So the Muslims have their own patrols separate from the police. Well, they do that right now. Right. So what do you think happens, when that time comes? What are in those heavily, like Dearborn, Michigan, certain parts of New York, what do you think that they're going to do? They're going to feel that they're justified in doing whatever they want, and they're going to get rid of the people that don't agree. So again, surround yourself, if it's my opinion, surround yourself with like-minded people. See, the best thing about with what we're doing, we don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, or Asian, or whatever you are. You're a human being. That makes you part of us. If you're part of us, great. Okay? Because it's going to be us against them. That's what it's going to be. Us against whoever's trying to take our stuff. And again, I'm a big believer in trying to help if you can, but you can't help everybody, and you don't shortchange yourselves to help somebody giving them a meal. And what are they going to do? They're going to come back for more and more and more. So, yeah, you have to know you're part of us. Exactly. And that's why I have always said to you guys, get involved with groups now. Know who you're getting involved with. If it ain't for you, then go on to something else. Try to surround yourself with people that have the same principles, morals, whatever's most important to you. Surround yourselves with those people. Surround yourselves with people, that have military experience, that have medical experience. Because, I will tell you this, and I've said this a million times too, After SHTF happens, folks, I'm no longer a nurse. I'm no longer a nurse. If we don't have a doctor in the group, guess what? I just became the doctor. And thank goodness we have several of us that are at medical field that are involved with the group. So we would be, our main job would be treating people, taking care of people, because you're going to have injuries. Somebody was talking, and I want to kind of bring this up as well. And I think this is important. They were talking about lone wolves, and I said, and I've always said, they're like, well, I don't believe that, I think you're wrong that lone wolves would be okay. For a while, they might be, folks. But again, you can't stay up 24 hours a day. You can't do all the things that you need to do to survive by yourself. If you get hurt, or if you get injured, or if you get sick, who's picking up the slack? And that's why I'm a big believer in having a group, because if somebody does get sick or somebody does get hurt, we can set them on the sidelines for a while so that they can heal up and they can get better and come back and be a vital part of what we're doing. But you got to be able to have the numbers to take care of that. Now, would there be issues with having numbers of people? Of course there will be. There's always going to, if you got 2 people, you're okay. You got 3, there's going to be problems. That's just a reality, okay? So you're going to have a whole bunch of, different people, different personalities. Can you work together? But I honestly believe in my heart, if you're all coming from the same place, the same fundamental reason why you got together, which is survival, which is long-term viability, to be able to protect your families, okay? It gives you such an advantage, and I think that a lot of people, that's what they would want. They're looking for that group of people that, yes, I can work with these people, No, I don't have to be in charge. I'm okay with taking orders or whatever the case may be. It's decisions that you have to make individually ahead of time, because I've said a million times, and I'll say this again just so it sinks into you guys, all right? 3 things are going to happen after a true SHTF situation. And I mean, nothing's coming back on, the lights ain't coming back on, nothing, okay? Either you're already going to be part of a group, you will be joining a group, and it may not be the type of group that you want to be part of, okay? But you'll do it to survive, or you'll be dead, period. That's how it's going to be. So my thing is, I would rather now, while there's time, decide who are the people that I want to have around me when that time goes sideways. Who are those people? Who do I want to have around me? And get that camaraderie, get that brotherhood, that sisterhood going now, and plan and work together now. That's what it's about. And that's what we're doing here. And doing what we're doing here is showing people that, yes, this is possible, that you can put a group of strangers that used to be strangers together, that they can come together and they can work together for the greater good of not just themselves, but for the group. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I started a group to begin with. It's just, and I'm going to tell you what, you look at the different people, anybody, everybody raves about Mark all the time. Mark is awesome. Rob is awesome. Sandy's awesome. Johnson is awesome. Everybody that's part of this group, every single member that's part of this group, Jamie and Dawn, Roy, Dave, everyone that's here, Bud, and I keep going on and on and on, but we're all in this together. We are a huge family. That's what you become. You become a family. And then you realize what's important. What are we looking to do? What's our goal? What do we want to have happen? Now, I will tell you this. The reality is we would rather not see SHTF happen, right? We would rather not see it happen. Do we believe it's going to happen? Absolutely, yes, we do. But at the same time, let's say, and somebody said to me, well, what happens if nothing ever happens? Well, you know what? Then I have a great place here where I have my friends that can come down here. They have their own place. They can stay for a week, 10 days, whenever they want, a getaway for a vacation, and enjoy the company of other like minded people. And we get together once a month and continue to do that. And it's great. So, why not? Why not? But, and we have fun when we do stuff. We joke, we laugh, we goof. You probably see that in the videos, and but that's what we do. And it's not, nobody has a less important job than somebody else. They don't, because everybody's going to have a job. you know like Paul and Barbara. Paul and Barbara are older. Cheryl's older, right? So Cheryl will do a lot of cooking. That's what she wants to do. Johnson lost a lot of weight. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And so did Rob. Both of those guys. Hella, please stop now. Both of those guys have lost a ton of weight. Johnson took up running and also bicycling. And so that's what he's been doing a lot, and watching what he eats more. And he's dropped a ton of weight doing that. Rob went on the carnivore diet, and he's lost over 40 pounds just being on that diet. So, and that's, and that's good. That's good, because I'm going to tell you right now, when the time comes, we're all losing weight, because we're all going to be busy all the time. And, there'll be things to do. And it's not like we're going to be going off to McDonald's to get that food. We're going to have what we have. And that's another reason why we continue to prep and continue to get ready. And just, it puts us in a much better situation. And that's the goal. So we should be talking about winter survival. Winter survival is definitely, let's put it like this, in a true SHTF situation, by the time spring rolls around after the first winter, there will be a whole lot less people out there. A whole lot less. Did Jimmy pass away? No, Jimmy ended up moving. So it was not going to be good for him to stay in the group from where he was going to. So that's why he left. What about radio communication during SHTF? All right, Alex, I'm going to tell you what now. So ham radios, let's talk about that. And that's a good point. And my big thing is this: listen rather than talk. I don't want them pinging in and knowing exactly where we are or what we got going on. I would rather be listening to find out what's going on outside around me, not putting out our information. So that's as far as, yeah, Eric's still around. I mean, he's got his own place too, Critter Lover. He's got another place here in West Virginia as well. But, if he knows that if he had to, he could come here in a heartbeat. Same thing with Angry Prepper. Angry Prepper Jason, he knows things go sideways and he can get out of the city and he can make his way down here. He would be welcome with open arms. So, he would definitely be somebody that would be an absolute asset to any group, and that's what you got to look at when you're looking. And I'll tell you something else here real quick. In a true SHTF situation, and I've talked about this with the group members, we will end up having people in the group that we never expected to have, because somebody will come in looking for help, but they're bringing skill sets with them that will help the group. And if that's what we can do, and we can bring people in like that, then that's a good thing. So that's going to happen. And again, most of us are older in the group. All right. Johnson is probably one of the youngest ones in the group, and he's 25. But, most of the people in the group are in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, and that's just the way it is. But, do you think you need some kind of radio in case Heather and you cannot communicate? Heather knows what she has to do, Lamb's Light. We've talked about it extensively. So we already have a game plan in place, and so she already knows exactly what she would have to do and what her window is to be able to get here. So my son's doing fine. He's living with his mom still, and he's doing okay. But like I said, guys, overall, with all of it, it's absolutely a team effort. And if you don't have a team effort, you're going to be in trouble. I would like to be able to know I could go to sleep and not have to worry about somebody trying to kill me in my sleep. So, and there's another thing with being the lone wolf. All right, you're a lone wolf. You got to put your head down sometime. Hey, Wolfang, how you doing, brother? Good to see you here. You got to put your head down sometime. And if you're not putting your head down, then in peace, you're never going to get good sleep. And again, you need many people. You need many people. So we're going to go ahead here right now. We got 245 in the chat. We got 154 thumbs up. Again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I do appreciate that ahead of time. It really makes a huge, huge difference with the algorithms. So again, thank you for that. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right, so we're going to do egg count. So how many? We have 15 hens altogether, or 14 hens, 1 rooster, sorry. 14 hens. The total is how many eggs total? Yes or no for Miss Betty White. And last but not least, of the Easter eggers, how many of them laid? All right. So it's total number of eggs, yes or no for Miss Betty White, and then how many Easter eggers? All right. So we'll go from there. So I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses in, and we will go from there. In the meantime, I'm going to take another hit of green tea. What? No, we're not. You're not going out yet. After the live stream, I got to put the kids to bed, right? Then you can go out. Now you know the drill, sister. You know the drill. Yes. It's a naughty child. So, okay, that's it. Down, down, down. Kittens are right here. They're inside. I always make sure that before I put the puppies to bed, the cats are inside. So, all right. So, if you had the same exact guess, Carol almost had the right answer, but we have 3 Easter eggers. 3 Easter eggers, not 4, 3. So the right guess was by guess who? DJ got the right guess today with 9 eggs total today. Yes, Miss Betty White laid, and all 3 of the Easter eggers did lay today. So it was 9 yes and 3. Carol Prince said 9 yes and 4 just before DJ, but we don't have 4 Easter eggers. So congratulations to DJ. You have won absolutely nothing once again, but added on to your record of wins in the egg count. But you are happy about it. So there we go. But yeah, the chickens are doing well. I'm averaging between 8 and 11 eggs a day right now. So I'm only watching. Reason I'm up now is because I have tomorrow off. Nothing wrong with that, my friend. I was actually going to guess 10, but someone beat me to it, so I said 9. Well, there you go. There you go. That's funny. Yeah, and I did see that one with 10. DJ fixed the drone just in time. That's too funny. But no, I'll tell you, they've been out there doing their thing with Mousin. Yeah, they go out quite a bit at night. So they're definitely taking care of business. And Clyde he's like so much bigger than Bonnie. She's like tiny compared to him. He's a good sized boy, but they're good cats. I mean, he is more loving. He is more loving than she is, but Wolfgang, Cincinnati is getting stupid. A lot of places are, folks. And again, I want to go back to, I believe it's just a matter of time before something pops off. Planned by somebody or not planned by somebody. It is just a matter of time. They want, meaning the real people in charge, not the governments, but the real people in charge, want a population reduction. They want that. And not just here in the US, but all over the world. So, if they can orchestrate something to happen that sets it off, then they'll get what they want. Be it biological, be it by a grid down situation, whatever the case may be. You know, and my thing is, whatever happens, good people need to survive it. Good people need to survive whatever's going to happen. And, that is one of the main reasons why I started doing what I'm doing here. I love it when people say, they said, oh, it's like Jim Jones, what we got going here. Well, we haven't moved to South America yet, and we haven't started Carswellville yet. So, I mean, because he called the place in South America Jonesville. It's a joke. So, but, I feel very strongly with what's been happening and what's going on. And there's no Kool-Aid yet. We have no Kool-Aid. So, and nobody lives here full time except for Steve in the outbuilding. And if my sister Margie wants to move down here, she can. If Heather ever decides to move down here, she can. Family can come here, but otherwise, this is a bug out location only. So, yeah, Wolfang said what hurt me the most was when a young girl was stabbed. Nobody helped her, and that's the other part of that. What kind of human beings are we becoming that we won't even help somebody that's in distress? I don't know if they could have saved her, but if nobody's applying pressure on that wound, if nobody's, immediately calling 911 on the phone or whatever, and nobody did anything, they could care less, which is horrible. He did get canned, Stephen. They pulled the plug on him. His show's been canceled. Yeah, they could have at least rendered first aid. Nope, they didn't. And that's one of the problems with today. I'm going to tell you what, and I've talked about this a little bit because I ride a motorcycle, and if somebody sees me out on my motorcycle, and let's say like right now I'm wearing a muscle shirt, right? And I got a muscle shirt on, and I got my vest on, and I got my half helmet on, and I got my earrings in, people look at you like you're some kind of a scumbag. And what they never realized was if something happened to anybody, I would be the first one to stop to help anybody. And I don't care. I've done it. Okay. I've come up on accidents and I got off and I helped. And then guess what I did? When the paramedics got there, I left because then they could take over that, but the important thing is to be able to be in a position to help someone. And people don't anymore. They don't want to get involved. They don't care, which is sad, And they need to make example of these perpetrators. Absolutely, yes. Yes. Do we have a mental health issue in this country? We sure do. We emptied out all the institutions many, many years ago and put those people on the street. Did that magically make them better? Or are they still in their own delusions and whatever else? Think about that. They were locked up for a reason. Folks, I've worked at a psychiatric hospital in North Carolina, okay? John Umstead Psychiatric Hospital. Look it up if you don't believe me. It's there in Butner, New York, or Butner, North Carolina. I was going to say New York, but Butner, North Carolina. I worked there, and it is wild. You got people that are truly, truly out to lunch. So, was the guy with the knife still walking around on the train? Yeah, until it stopped. So, but, there are people that need to be locked up, not only for their own safety, but for the safety of the people around them. If this guy that they're trying to make out like he's the freaking victim, okay, has a mental health issue, then he should be someplace where he can't hurt people. So, yeah, make loony bins great again. We like to call them nervous hospitals. We don't like to call them loony bins. That's the nervous hospital. Sling Blade, if those of you that don't know what I'm talking about. But Anyway, guys, you know, stay vigilant, stay frosty, pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the people around you. You never know where that threat is going to come from. And I'm a big believer in always being ready. And when the time comes, it's not a time to react, it is a time to act. And if you have a game plan, right, and you know what you're going to do, it just gives you that much more of an advantage. Now, you could be afraid. I think everybody will be afraid when that time comes because everybody's going to know that they're going to lose people that they care about. You can't save Maul Hasselhoff, right, from Baywatch. You can't save everybody. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I mean, you can go all these things out there. But when the time comes, every single person that's watching this, I don't care if you're prepared or not prepared, you are going to lose people that you care about because they won't do anything. They won't do anything. And we live in a society that is very narcissistic now. It's all about me, 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 which is sad as well because that's not what it should be about, you know. But, you know, that's the mindset with a lot of people. Their needs only, they don't care about nobody else. And that's, like I said, to me, that's sad. So, what are we at, 170? Only got like 4 minutes left in this live stream. Let's see if we can hit 180. Hi. Let's see if we can hit 180 thumbs up, guys, before we jump off. So I need 10 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, just because I want to see if we can get 10 more thumbs up. And there's plenty of people in here that haven't shot a thumbs up yet, so we could easily do it. So it's fear of the unknown. Well, the thing is, you have to take chances. If you never take a chance, you'll never know. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. And like I said, I'm a huge believer in prepare for the worst and hope for the best. But I do not have a lot of faith in mankind. I just don't, because we are the most vicious animal on this planet. We kill because we enjoy killing. And that's a fact. That is a fact. And when there is no rule of law, what do you think is going to happen? And how do you think people are going to react then? It's going to get ugly. It's going to get real, real ugly. So I almost got sent to Butner as a kid. Heard it was absolutely awful. The mental health system is awful. Well, it's not great. It's definitely not great. When I was down there in the 90s. And it was, we still use posies. And posies, if you don't know, if you got to tie somebody into a chair or into bed so that they don't hurt themselves, well, that's what they did. Now, in New York, these morons in New York, they got rid of bed rails even because, you know, it was a restraint. It's stupid, just stupid. Oh, wow, now we're at 192. Now we need 8 more for 200. We got a minute and a half, guys. We need 8 more thumbs. I didn't think we were going to get 180. Now we're at 194. I remember posies, Eric Johnson. Yeah, so those of you in the medical field will know what a posy is. So, but they did it to keep people safe. So now we need 5 more thumbs up to hit 200. We need 5 more thumbs up, guys. So if you haven't shot that up there yet, please do so. Now we're 4 away. We're at 196. Just for fun. I was going to originally say 200, but I'm like, there's no way we're getting 200. So, but yeah, now 199. Need 1 more. So what are you supposed to do? Let them run wild? Well, they had the right to fall. That's what they used to tell us, Mary. This is in New York. They had the right to fall, which was stupid. Very, very stupid. Because they need to be safe because they don't know what to do. It's unfortunate, but that's reality. Believe me, the medical system is a mess, an absolute mess. You got the people that are not in the trenches making decisions, and and that's the reality of it, and it's sad. It really is sad. So, crazy world. A lot of crazy stuff going on. I had a friend who was a doctor. We witnessed an accident. He hesitated to help because he was worried about getting a lawsuit filed if something happened. And that's what a lot of them will do. They won't help because they're afraid of getting sued. Yep. But I never cared. I just always felt that it was the right thing to do. So we hit 203. Look at that. Awesome, guys. I appreciate y'all. I didn't think we were going to get there, but we did. Now, if somebody took theirs away, so now we're at 202. Okay. Here's the thumbs up. I'm taking it away. Whatever. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all. Please be smart. Please continue to get ready. Be there for your families. Help yourselves. And just be as ready as you can be when the time comes. That's the best thing you can do. I will talk to you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.